What a great week. We got breaking news into First Take. ESPN Dolphins reporter Marcel Louis-Jacques has confirmed that the Dolphins have agreed to terms with wideout Odell Beckham Jr.
I think this signing is good for a guy like Jalen Waddle, a guy who is a younger player in the league. And yes, he has Tyreek Hill, but they have a dude like Odell Beckham Jr. who has experience in the NFL.
The Miami Dolphins are a team that I haven't heard too many people talking about, and they are really just flying under the radar for the amount of talent that they have. They made some eye-opening moves in the offseason, such as signing Odell Beckham Jr., and even though he's older and is on the back end of his career, it's still a big name, and one that will bring attention to opposing defenses, especially as a wide receiver 3. And the Dolphins also have a great rushing attack, followed by Tua at QB, who is looking to repeat the type of season he had last year, throwing for a crazy 4,624 yards with 29 touchdowns. The Dolphins' offense was electric all season long, and having to go on the road to face the Chiefs in some of the worst and coldest weather possible was a very unfortunate situation. But anyways, I want to talk about what the Dolphins front office did in free agency and in the draft to improve an already stacked roster. And they of course made some changes on defense, because that was the area that let the team down sometimes, but overall, they were still a pretty solid unit. Before I get into everything, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are now on the road to 30k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so where do we even start? I guess it has to be with the draft. The Dolphins had pick number 21, and with so many offensive weapons coming off the board at first, that left so many great defensive options available, so they were able to take Chop Robinson, an edge rusher from Penn State. Robinson is an alien-like athlete. He makes some jaw-dropping plays where he can fire off the line and get into the backfield with ease. However, outside of his first step and fast hands, he is an incomplete pass rusher. Most of his backfield production comes from him feasting off inferior tackles. Next up at pick 55, the Dolphins selected Patrick Paul, a tackle out of Houston. He is a 4-year starting left tackle inside Houston RPO-heavy, balanced run-pass split. He shows good quickness out of his stance with a mixture of 45-degree angle and vertical sets to get to his landmarks on time. He has the range to extend his sets and stay attached against high side rushes as well. The Dolphins also followed up their usual style of adding flashy players on offense by picking running back Jalen Wright in the 4th round, who ran a 4.38 40 time and had the fastest 5-yard acceleration of any running back at the combine in the past 2 years, and was an 1,000-yard rusher at Tennessee and will fit very well in the running back room with Raheem Mostert and a chain. As far as free agency goes, the Dolphins made a few notable moves, with the most recent one being of course potential future Hall of Fame receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Now, let's state the obvious by saying that this is of course not the same OBJ who was a guaranteed 1,000 yards every year he was healthy, but this is an OBJ who has won a Super Bowl, scored a TD in that game, and can absolutely thrive as a wide receiver 3 with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. OBJ was in a tough spot last year where he maybe didn't get the targets he wanted, but one thing is for sure, even if he is not getting the ball, defenses are always worried about where he is at, which can be very helpful for this Dolphins offense, which already possesses many different threats at the skill position. Some other notable additions include Jonnu Smith, who to no surprise is a fast tight end that will take over as a starter after he is coming off arguably his best year with 50 catches for 582 yards and 3 TDs with the Falcons last year. And that is all coming with very bad QB play. They also signed some notable defensive veterans such as Jordan Brooks, Anthony Walker Jr., Shaq Barrett, and Kendall Fuller. All guys who will come in and be starters or impact players for this defense next year, as well as bringing their veteran leadership as well. Then of course the biggest addition on defense is former All-Pro safety Jordan Poyer, who was let go from the Bills this past season. This is a massive addition, and he will play a huge role for the Dolphins next year, opposite of Holland, creating a very good defense, which we will get more in depth of later. Next, it's time to talk about the leader of it all, which is of course none other than Tua, and the guys who surround him. Tua is coming off his best year last season, in which he posted 4,624 yards and 24 touchdowns. But however, he had 14 interceptions, which has been a huge issue for him, and it's something that he needs to work on this year. Turning it over has hurt this team multiple times and is holding the offense back from its full potential. He should look to cut that number to single digits this year, and I think he will do so with all the help around him. He's an extremely accurate QB, so I expect him to make good throws on time and on target. And he really does not even have to make insane throws because of how good the scheme is and how much talent is around him. However, he is very capable when needed. Speaking of the guys around him, of course, it immediately jumps straight to the 2023 NFL receiving yards leader, Tyreek Hill. Hill had an absolutely insane second season with the Dolphins, somehow topping his insane season the year prior, putting up 1,799 yards with 13 touchdowns off of 119 receptions. And for a while in the season, it looked like he was going to hit 2,000 yards, and I would not be surprised if he comes closer to that number this year because he is freakishly good and only seems to be getting better and faster with age. Then there is of course his partner in crime, Jalen Waddle, who despite missing 3 games last year, still put up 1,014 yards and 4 touchdowns in a season in which he did not even play the best that he possibly could. I really do believe that his best football is still ahead of him, and these two together should create undoubtedly the best wide receiving duo in the league, and I really don't think anyone else comes close. Then there is of course the super speedy running back duo of Raheem Mostert and A-Chain. Starting with Mostert, who had an all-time season last year, being an over 1,000-yard rusher and scoring 21 touchdowns, 18 of them coming on the ground. Mostert, like everyone in this offense, possesses incredible speed and is not slowing down at all, and much like Tyreek Hill, only seems to be getting better with age. As for A-Chain, he had a very good rookie campaign as he had 800 yards at 7.8 a carry with 8 touchdowns as well, and 3 receiving. A-Chain also is incredibly fast as he had 2 of the fastest top speeds in miles per hour ran in a play last season at 21.7 and 21.9 miles per hour. To no one's surprise, the top 5 of that list was all Dolphins, as Tyreek ranked number 1 with 22 as well as number 4, with Raheem Mostert rounding it out at number 5. This just goes to show not only how fast this running back unit is, but just this offense overall. I really do think that OBJ, Jalen Wright, and Jonnu Smith will all fit right into this offense with ease. So now it all relies on Tua to be the quarterback we all know he can be and lead this team to its fullest potential. Mike McDaniel has such an incredible scheme and will make things easy as possible for Tua next year, so this offense should be the best in the league once they put it all together. Speaking of McDaniel, who is absolutely one of the funniest, if not the funniest coach in the league, he and offensive coordinator Frank Smith do a great job with this offense. With all the talent on the offensive side of the ball, all they need is a perfect scheme and coach to run it all, and McDaniel is absolutely one of those guys. McDaniel comes from the Mike Shanahan coaching tree, along with Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, and Sean McVay, who are all incredible offensive minds and successful head coaches. So you know he is just a very smart guy. We should expect to see even more from McDaniel this year, as he has been gifted even more talent to work with and should be able to take this offense to being the best in the league like it was last year, averaging over 400 yards per game and scoring many points, including a game in which we all remember where they hung 70 on the Broncos in a route to a 50-point win, which just felt like a Madden game against your little brother. Now, we all know what the offense is. The big question coming into this season is how the defense will complement them. The Dolphins were ranked a top 10 defense last year, allowing 318 yards per game, but this should only get better as they spent most of last year without one of the best corners in the game in Jalen Ramsey. Ramsey made an immediate impact when he intercepted a pass in his first game back and ended with 3 on the season. He leads a solid cornerback room, along with veteran Kendall Fuller, who can still play, having 2 interceptions last season and an 83.1 overall PFF grade. Those two will be joined by Kader Kohou, who has been a very good young player for the Fins, starting 16 of the 17 games he played in last year and recording 10 passes defended the past 2 seasons. Also, in the secondary is of course very talented Javon Holland and the newly added veteran Jordan Poyer. These two together should form a very solid safety duo, and they will help lead a very talented secondary. And outside of this very talented secondary, there is a lot of talent on the defensive line, especially at the edge, as they have 4 very good ones in Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Shaq Barrett, and the rookie first-round pick, Chop Robinson. We talked about Robinson a lot earlier, but he will likely have to take a backseat to Chubb, who had his best year since his rookie season, posting 11.5 sacks in his first full season with this team, and Phillips, who had 6.5 sacks and was off to a very good start to his season before suffering a nasty Achilles injury, in which you could see it pop as he went off the line, so he will look to come back healthy and better than ever. Barrett is also a solid veteran who should be able to come in and be a solid rotational pass rusher for this defense as well. As for the inside linebackers, it is also a solid group of vets who will look to replace Jerome Baker, who they lost this past season. Altogether, this group should be right around where they were last season as a top 10 defense in the league. I know I've kind of been repeating myself, But all in all, this really should be an exciting season for Dolphins fans, and I fully expect them to make the playoffs again, and I believe they should be able to win the AFC East this season. They have an absolutely electric offense led by a great head coach and a defense that seems to have gotten a little bit better and should be around where they found themselves last year in the top 10 ranking of the league. That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. And if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next. And also one more thing, follow me on Instagram because I'm starting to post tons of cool sports content on there every single day. And until next time, I will see you all later.